Welcome. Over the Top Podcast. It's your boy HD, and with the Over the Top Podcast crew. We got the Playmaker G. What's going on, G?
Not much, man. How you doing today?
Incredible, sir. Incredible. We also got Big Run. What's going on, RJ?
Hey, how y'all doing?
Good. I'm Millennial Q. What you got going on, sir?
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Hey, man. Hey, that's a good thing, baby. That's a good thing. We don't want to get you fined out here. You know, we got obligations. That's right. And last but definitely not least, Lady T, Miss Toya, how you doing?
I'm good.
Good. Hey, guys, like always, you can find the Over the Top Podcast on our Facebook page. We do got some new stuff going on. We're expanding pretty rapidly, so we're kind of excited about what we got going on. We're gonna start the show out again with an Ask Toya. I think it went well last week. We're gonna try it again this week and see we gotta see if it worked out a little better. Toya, what you got going on?
Oh wow! So this week's Ask Toya. Dear Toya, I am a 47-year-old Black woman. I'm a divorce lawyer and I'm married to a white man. Not because I don't love Black men. I just happen to fall in love with a white man. Because my job consists of unhappy marriages, in which my first question is always, do you think or have you tried to work this out? Sometimes I might get a win, and in mediation, the couple agrees to counseling, and they figure their shit out. Then other times it turns into an all-out battle. My question is, and I'm seeing so much of this, why is it that Black men belittle the Black woman's self? Why are we the new enemy of Black men? And why are we the cause to all of their problems? It's like they hate everything about us, but need to have us. What are your thoughts on this? Signed, the divorce lawyer. So I'm gonna let y'all brothers answer first. Cause y'all are Black men.
Wow. A lot of
I'll let everyone else go first.
Ron, we can start with you, RJ. What's your thoughts?
We'll start with me on that one.
Of course.
I wasn't planning on you starting with me, but I'm gonna say this. The definition of what
you want me to start?
No. I'm gonna go.
Okay.
What I see is a distinct problem in our community is that there are a set of forces that are impacting our community that we can't necessarily see. And I think sometimes we fall prey to the pressure of those forces. And we have to look beyond how we're processing a moment and see the larger picture sometimes. And I think it's very hard for us as a people to assess certain things in real time. And so sometimes it's good for you to really kind of take a step back, but it's kind of hard when you're emotional. Relationships are hard, and you're going to have parity. You're going to have people that are great partners, and you're going to have people that are crappy partners. I think we're not learning how to be married and stay in marriages anymore. And so that's a major issue. And I would just encourage us to really look at the larger picture and take some time before signing that dotted line and getting divorced, and try to learn how to work through problems. And don't go to divorce court immediately. Go through the process, counsel, get some help, all possible. And you make a decision from that point forward. Now, you caught me off guard with that when you called me first.
I'm sorry. I can go next.
Playmaker, what's your thoughts?
I'm a little bit offended by the statement, all Black men hate Black women. We're 4 men on this stage, and none of us feel like that. So I think that I don't feel like that. So I think that the circle that this lady may be operating in may be unique, and she needs to kind of maybe look outside of that circle, because I think that you may have pockets of people pockets of Black men that may have had some hurt or some unresolved issues that feel like that. But I don't think that that's the large majority of Black men. So it's kind of hard for me to kind of say that black men hate black women. I think in a lot of the circles that I hang around in, they're always looking for ways to uplift black women, to respect black women. So it's kind of odd for me to hear her say that as a global statement.
I agree. I agree.
Go ahead, Toya.
Q, you want to go? I mean,
I'm gonna jump in. I know you agree.
I agree. I think the problem is that, like, with social media, you see all negativity, and it's not designed for us to see us in a positive light. Now, don't get me wrong, you see it. So on my social media pages, I see all positivity. I see greatness. I see black excellence because, like you said, G, of the people that you put in your circle. But like if I'm on TikTok or something, then I see that negativity. But it's to put it in such a broad realm that's the problem. It's not all black. It's just some. And it's black women too. Some of us are broken and need to heal and don't need to move on to the next situation until that healing process is done. And so instead of saying, okay, taking accountability, they just put it out there so that so everybody can see, because it's for the likes. It's for the likes and the subscribes, basically. But there are beautiful black families, positive black men who are role models like you four here. And I don't see what she sees all the time. It's just a small portion of what I see. So I just say, like you said, G, go outside your circle and what you do, because her job is a divorce lawyer. So she always sees the ugly side of marriage for the most part as a divorce lawyer.
Go ahead, Q.
I was gonna agree with Toya. Yeah, she's letting the minority out-talk the majority, which is something that a lot of people do, especially with day-to-day social media. With that being said, I'm sorry, let me ask a question quick. Is she divorcing the white man?
No, she just said she's married to a white man. Not because she hates black men, she loves black men, but she just happened to fall in love with white men.
Okay, so she fell in love with a Caucasian man and got mad at the niggas?
Okay.
I'm sorry. Just she fell in love with him and got mad at. What did we do? What did we do? What we love? All power to you.
Cannot.
Why did we get astray? Because you fell in love with a Caucasian man.
Well,
Ron, you muted.
All right.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to hit the mute. I think what we're not really like. I think we're missing a part of it is like when they're sitting in mediation and they're discussing aspects of what's going to take place with the case. When she's expounding on certain things or representing her client, they take it as she's attacking them. And it speaks to the issue that they have with black women. Some of these guys really do have some serious and distinct issues, but then they're also on both sides of this coin. There are also some issues on the other side of the coin that I don't know how she comes off, as it could be a situation like we had the circumstance with, I hate to say the name, I don't even want to give her no pub, but Ebony K. Williams. The disrespect that she exhibited towards people in that daggone clip, to me, was really problematic. And she tried to dress it up, and she dug a hole deeper for me. And so when you start to reflect on how people look at our status in the community, there's a deeper issue, but there's a deeper psychology. That's a whole podcast.
It is.
Do black women really trust black men? And I ain't talking about fidelity. I ain't talking about fidelity. I'm talking about succinctly to guide and lead the family. Do they trust black men? And that's a core premise of a lot of what we're dealing with, and the mistrust comes from. Women have had to stand on their own. But I had to flush that out. That's a deeper conversation.
When I looked over to Astoria, it brought a couple of alarms. One, you have someone again who is married to a Caucasian man, which I have no problem with that. With who you fall in love with, so that's not the premise I'm coming from. But I guess my question is, if you married to a black man, why are you throwing the narrative that all black men hate black women? Because that don't even affect you in that state. It seems like you are trying to throw something out, throw some gas on the fire, or who are you really trying to impress? Who you really talking to? You talking to yourself? Or are you talking to black men? When I say that, are you talking to yourself?
Are you projecting?
Are you projecting, talking to yourself that you have hatred for yourself? That's why the black men have hatred for you? I don't know.
I don't think that I actually know this person, so.
Well, you can't.
I don't think that is. I think there's just a conversation from what she sees on a daily basis, like Ron said, when she's doing mediation, when they're going through, like she said, sometimes it's a win, and sometimes all hell breaks loose. And I guess at that point when all hell breaks loose, that anger, but I think too, you have to understand that anger comes from whatever went on in that marriage. There's a lot of hurt. When you go through a divorce, it's not an easy thing. There is a lot of hurt on both sides. But once you
anger on both sides,
it is, and so
you can't find that respect. But I don't think black men don't love black women. I find it definitely hard.
No, I don't think. But like Ron said, I do believe there are some black men that do not like black women at all, and they'll say that personally, and then they don't. For me, I always say it, you stay in your lane. So if you can't deal with a black woman and you see all the stereotypes in a black woman, then you stay in your lane and date outside of where you need to.
Well, I wonder, is she able to date? Is she able to date as a lawyer? Is she able to find somebody that she feels is equivalent to her? I know when black women don't necessarily date. Black women not gonna date up or date down. Black women gonna date up. Black men are date down, up across the spectrum.
Her husband is a doctor, so yeah, that part.
I would say this to y'all. I think one thing I want y'all to focus on this aspect. I want y'all to focus on this aspect. There's a term called transference of emotion. And essentially what that man does, if he's debating the case and he's going to be on the hook financially for a certain dollar amount, when he's speaking to that case and that lady may pin him down on a place where he has his money or something like that, he's going to take it personal. And whatever emotion that he had directly related to his significant other, he's going to transfer it onto her. That's just transference of emotion. And I hate to say this to her, but sis need to get some thicker skin if you're going to be in that game. If you're a divorce lawyer, you just got to.
She's been in the game for a minute. And I guess for me, I get where she's coming from because, like, y'all are married. I'm in the dating world. And so I see, and I have been disrespected in ways by black men that I never thought, once I came out of a long marriage, that I never thought I would be. So I see it firsthand on either how they talk to you, how disrespectful they are, how broken they are. Because, and not to say that I wasn't broken, but we're both on both sides. But some are willing to heal and some aren't.
I'll tell you right now, I go into people's houses to heal them and give them life. And you know what? Sometimes I get cursed out. And I have to say use of self and have to be a professional and still go back and love on them. That's how I have to deal with it. That's called putting the big boy panties on and big boy drawers on, so to speak. So some of us have to put our big girl panties on and lock in and just realize that some of these men are emotionally invested, and emotional investment means that they're not going to be rational when they're stating it. You cannot take that stuff personal. And that's what we have to. That's what we have to learn how to do.
You can't take that stuff personally if it's in a situation where you have a one-on-one with somebody. If I'm dating somebody, not even dating, if somebody's trying to
relationship status, I'm talking about at work.
I'm talking about just dealing with as a woman dealing with a man, and not as in She's saying in relationship ways, not as a personal, not in her business, but seeing the relationship fall apart or seeing what happens once you get to that place. Like you said, if she's pushing somebody in the corner, then they're going to show, as a lawyer, she's doing her job, but they're going to show the whole other side of them, and it comes out. But that's what she's trying to get, because she's trying to prove a point, or she's trying to find money or something like that. I get what you're saying about that, but I'm saying in situations where it's just a one-on-one.
Might need to mute that background.
Yeah.
Cool. You got 30 seconds. Give what you want to say, Q.
Go ahead,
Yeah, I was gonna say. First, I was gonna say, yeah, there's something going on in the background. Second, I was gonna ask, she's married to a doctor, but worried about how other black men see her.
No.
She worried about she's a divorce lawyer.
How black men see black women in general.
Her patient. Okay,
but yeah, as a divorce lawyer, you're gonna see like I said, that's it. You're gonna see nastiness on both sides.
Yes.
Okay, no problem. Tori, you wrap it up in a couple of seconds.
Okay, so I hope you got your answer. And if anybody else has questions for us, hit me up at asktoya74@gmail.com or Ask Toya on Facebook. That's TOIA. We will be happy to answer your questions for you.
Perfect. We keeping it pushing, guys. Keeping it pushing. We're gonna talk about a little bit of mental health today. On this topic, mental health includes our emotional and psychological and social well-being. It affects how we think, how we feel, how we act, and help determine how we handle stress, relate to others, and make choices. Mental health is very important at this stage of life, from childhood, adolescence, through adulthood. Over the course of your life, you may experience mental health problems. You may thinking or mood or behavior could be affected. Some of the mental health illnesses or disorders range from mild to severe that affect a person's mood and the behavior. This is according to the National Institute of Mental Health. Nearly 1 out of 5 adults are living with a mental health illness. Some of the many factors that contribute to mental health includes biological factors, life expectancy, and family history. So we're gonna continue our subject with mental health and PTSD, but we're gonna take a little bit to talk about strictly the mental health portion of it. I'm gonna go with you, Q, for the first question, my friend. How do you feel in this country views mental health as a part of your overall mental condition?
This country views mental health as a joke. Give it 100 with. I mean, there are people with mental health issues. Then there are people who with self-diagnosed mental health issues, and then you have the government who blames mental health on everything as a whole. My generation, a lot of people are taking it more seriously, and there's, like I said, there's a lot of people who say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I got this," or they'll say, "I got PTSD, I got bipolar disorder," and instead of trying to fix it, they'll say, "And you just gotta take me as I am, with mental disorders and all, whether you actually have them or you don't." So I would say a good 70-60% of people don't take it serious, and the people who do take it serious, and I'll say, and about 10% of people take it to like an absurd extreme, where they absolve people with mental health of everything. There's a sweet spot in the middle where they take it serious, they want to get people help, but they understand, like, yo, I know you got mental issues, but what you just did was wild, and you can't keep blaming mental health on what you just did.
Okay, good. Very kind to that, but my question to you gonna be, I mean, you can add on, that's fine, but how can we as a country best support those that have mental health concerns? Gary.
I think one of the things is awareness. I think that even what we have going on right now with Mental Health Awareness Month is letting people know that mental health issues exist and are real. I think similar to what Q said, I think back in the day, people were ashamed to kind of talk about their issues, or even the families didn't even want to try to help people who had issues. They kind of pushed it aside. So I think one is making sure people are aware that it is okay to have a mental health issue, and it's okay to seek help if you have a mental health issue, and to get rid of the stigmatism that is associated with mental health being a negative thing or something being wrong with you because you have an issue and may need help. So I think the awareness and making people understand that everybody may need help every now and then, and being okay with seeking help from people.
Okay, we say proper people, more the mental health professionals or doctors, or does it need to go to that extreme?
Well, so I think, unfortunately, we say, let's take him to Deacon Johnson. And Deacon Johnson doesn't have the tools necessarily he's a great guy, but he may not have the tools to help someone who's struggling in a particular area. Or they may say because somebody is a good person that they can help show somebody the way. And I think that's where we kind of fall into trouble, is that we don't seek professionals for help. We just seek someone who may be available or a good person. It's like if you needed heart surgery, you're not going to go to the gym and see who's available. You're going to go to a doctor and get a specialist to make sure that everything goes properly.
Okay, good, valid point. T, I'm gonna go with you. With the rise of random gun violence and other violence that we're experiencing, are we as a nation addressing the needs of our people as when it refers to mental health? Are we even touching the barriers of that?
Well, I don't think gun violence and mental health actually correlate together. Okay. I found a fun fact today. Did you know that if we were to inscribe the names of all those killed by gun violence in the last 20 years, we would need a monument 12 times larger than the Vietnam Memorial? Where mental health comes in with guns is with suicides. And that is the highest amount were suicides and gun violence. And of course, like you said, when we put these stigmas on everything and say, okay, well, he went and shot up the school because of mental health, that is reinforcing fear. And do you think that's the thing that we need to start. And I think that some things do deal with mental health when you come down to it, but it is a reinforcement of fear when you constantly are saying that, oh, this person was mentally, and of course you go in and shoot up a whole bunch of people in a black church and you're a white man. Obviously there's something off about you, because what white man would do that? Like, why would you know what I'm saying? So I don't think that gun violence and mental health actually correlate in the way that we think it should correlate. We're reinforcing fear into our society with guns, and it's an economic thing, of course, too. But I think that we do need to do a better job. There needs to be a better job, especially in our communities. Like what G was saying, you can't pray it away. You can't pray it away. Like God needs you to.
Go ahead. I mean, cut y'all. Go ahead. My mind racing. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I want to stay with you there because I know, especially in the political circle, anytime there's a situation where there's a massive shooting or a massive killing or some harmful, they run to the mental health factor. Even with the gentleman being killed in the subway, although it wasn't with a gun, the guy killed him with his bare hands and a technique. But people say that's a random fear. Do you think fear is a emotional reaction to mental health? Because a lot of mental health it may not be diagnosed as mental health.
And that's a problem, because when you diagnosing something, So it said that 53 million Americans have been diagnosed since 2020 with a mental disorder, whether it be PTSD, whether it be bipolarism. So 53 million. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people that are walking around with mental health issues, but it's not a whole bunch of people out here, mental health people out here killing people. So the brother on the subway was, and he was known to be on the subway. And if you've been in New York and you've been on the subway, or you've been in Jersey, you've been on, it's the subway. It's what happens. All types of craziness. You go on the subway just to see craziness sometimes.
Right.
Stop killing Black people for no reason. But the thing that he can say is because he's Marine is that he might have PTSD and that man triggered something in him. Which would be, I see your face, Ron.
I want to say,
go ahead, Kim.
Government does not care about veterans, does not care about mental health. So believing them saying, oh well, he probably had PTSD and that's why he did it. Y'all don't care, because if y'all did care, there wouldn't be so many veterans homeless, and there would be more medicine free and more medicine, cheaper medicine for people with mental illness. They don't care about you. They don't care about either.
Okay, well, I'm gonna come with you. I want you to respond to that, but I'm gonna come with you with this question: should America apply a more holistic approach in addressing the needs of this population in mental health?
To really be clear, the interest criteria level for people to get mental health right now is at an all-time high, and so that's why you're getting some people that transition into a place and then the mental health issues that they have are completely debilitating. And so when you start looking at the manifestation of the aggression and the behavior, that also aligns with the propaganda and the mental programming that you see from stations, whether it be Fox News or whether it be other locales that give people the ideas and the thought process. People are essentially being programmed to do some of these things, and their mindsets are open to that suggestion. The other part of it is when you really reflect on like the larger issue and the question that you asked me, America needs to take a larger stance as to caring for its citizens at large. We're not necessarily taking care of like other nations take care of their citizens. Italy has, I think it's either Italy or Spain has a 4-day work week, and they get 3 days off. And the productivity for those folks in that country is a lot higher than ours is with our 5-day work week. So essentially, in all true honesty, we work 40 to get 10. We're 45 now to get 10. So essentially, we're being worked to death. Mm-hmm. And if we really want to be honest, that's a larger part of what is impacting us. And you're having to work too hard to outpace the system to have a little bit of cushion in your pockets at once. So if you look at what's happened, it's the crumbling of the American dream. It's a number of different factors, but I will say this, what I see is happening real time, the interest criteria for a lot of these people getting into services is too high. And it's impacting what we're seeing in terms of the behavior.
I read it was a post today on the internet, and it stated that, or they made reference to that, if a person made minimum wage in this country, they're not able to go out and get a 1-bedroom apartment and pay their bills on a regular basis without the help of government. So with that said, I do agree that we work out, the country is designed to work ourselves to the bone and not receiving the benefit from it. The American dream is kind of shattering. Or is it move goalposts? It's there, but you got to dig and find it, I guess. But dealing with mental health disparities refers to the discrepancy in the health and health services and the health determinants. Multiple studies have found open and knew that racial and ethnic minorities face these disparities even at a controlling for variables like income, insurance, status, age, and symptom expression. Things. Give me one sec. I lost my train of thought. This, that, quick. I'm getting things like mortality, life insurance, burden of disease, mental health, insurance or underinsured, and lack of care and access. I think plays a big role in that. The run like you was saying earlier, like with American dream is being shattered. But I'm gonna go with you, Play. G, what are some of the disparities that you feel that affect the Black community when it comes to mental health and refers to mental health?
I mean, I think you hit it on the head where you talked about the unfortunate aspect of it. It is a financial aspect of it. I looked at a stat earlier today. It said that there's 350 individuals to every one mental health provider. So, of course, because of the number of people needing help is so large, they have to kind of figure out how to kind of trim the numbers. And one of the numbers through money. So if you don't have the proper connections to get the services that you need, it may be more challenging for you to get the services that you saw. If people are struggling just to get a one-bedroom apartment, they're not going to be able to pay for services that their kids or themselves may need in order to treat their symptoms.
Okay. I'm gonna add another question in here because we're doing great with time, guys. We definitely way ahead of the post. I'm gonna go with you with this, Toya. Do you think depression would be classified as a mental illness?
It is, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Is it
classified in the? Isn't it classified in the?
Is it classified as a mental illness? Right? Is that classified as being a depressive state? Is that
manic depression, bipolar disorder, or depression is essentially a disorder, and it's essentially classified as anger turned inward. And so people.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
People have a hard time managing or coping with aspects of trauma or things that have taken place in their lives, and so they essentially internalize those things, and those things become debilitating in the sense that they can't get it out. So something as simple as journaling, finding support groups, finding people that have who identify with them can help them manage or move past that. They have a number of different supports in the community, i.e. peer support, community support team. You can go to outpatient therapy. There are a number of different options, and there are also for some people who suffer severely, like bipolar depression. There are medications and other things that can support and aid folks in stabilizing their lives.
Okay, the reason I asked that, Jeremy, I'm gonna get you right quick. I'm gonna ask this question, guys, and I will go to Toya with it. Do you think there's a correlation of the regular day violence is connected? I know you say guns not connected to mental health, but do you think anxiety and stress it has a big factor, and fear have a big factor on our daily violence rate?
Yeah. I think when we talk about just violence and not just typically gun violence, because when we talk about gun violence, you have to break it down in all aspects of gun violence. You got gang violence, you got, just regular I'm a murder you violence. But
you got regular I'm a murder you violence. I don't like what you have on today. So I'm the guy.
Know what I mean?
Run of the mill violence.
I'm just running the mill. I'm gonna just go and shoot you violence. Yeah, I want to kill that. No. No, I think so depression, anxiety, and when you say bipolarism, yes. So when you're off your meds, if you're schizophrenic, so yeah, those things do deal with violence, and it also deals with a high suicide rate too. When we think about those type of disorders, so you have violence, and then you have violence amongst yourself.
We don't deal with that suicide as much as we need. We need to do about a little we need to do a show on that, because I think that's the hidden killer, especially not black men, because we don't like to communicate. But Gary, you had a point you want to make earlier. I didn't get you in. What do you have?
Yeah, I just wanted to go over a couple of stats because you kind of brought them up. 60% of youth with major depression do not receive treatment. So we were talking about some of the numbers. We have over 5.5 million adults with mental health illnesses that are uninsured. So they have to pay out of pocket or find some other way to kind of deal with seeing professionals. So I just wanted to kind of throw out some of those quick stats because we kind of talked about them when we were doing the conversation.
I can jump in with that real quick.
Go ahead.
You got to think those are just people that bother to answer a survey. You got to factor in all the kids and teenagers who don't know anything about it. They just walk through, oh, I'm just sad today, and I'm sad tomorrow, and I'm sad next week. I'll shower later. No, I don't want to hang out. Now it's a spin cycle, and now they don't even know why they're sad at that point, and no one's there to talk about it because in the black community that's not really talked. Especially don't let it be a kid who has it well enough growing up. They're like, well, I'm sad, and parents like, well, what you sad for? I did this. Well, I don't know why I'm sad, and they don't get help for it.
No, I'm coming with you with that, Q. Do you find a lot of millennials that's dealing with a lot of other issues, find itself in that realm, just like you said, that that's not being noticed on the stat sheet, that they're not being noticed in the numbers, that find themselves on the fringe of committing suicide or anything because of the mental health stressors? And I'm gonna ask you this, and then go to the panel. How do you deal with that? You start first. Then we roll. How you deal with that?
There's a lot of people who just don't know. Like I say, all it takes is one moment happen, one key moment. Don't know what, and you may not even know unless you go to therapy and therapist unlocks some hidden memory that you locked away. That one moment is all it takes, and whether it's some parent did this, your friend did that, and now you just sad forever and don't know how to explain it. And when you don't talk about something, how to explain, how to express yourself, and you just bottle it in, now you're holding on to that. And then something else may happen, and then just keep piling on top and on top. And all that could have been avoided if you just talk to one person, or were able to talk about it at all. And what was that second question?
Well, I'm gonna go around. You answer the question. I'm gonna go around, but you can come back and pick back to you. Hey, Ron, okay, you kind of answered the question. I was gonna say, how do you deal with that? But RJ, I'm gonna go with you, and because you deal with parents and you deal with children all the time. As parents, are we missing the mark of not seeing these changes that in our children as far as mental health, the change behaviors? I'm not showering today, or it's been 2 days where I haven't felt like I've been wearing the same hoodie for 3 days, or I'm depressed. And you all have parents. Have we missed the mark on that, or are we not paying attention?
I think people are increasingly busy, and I think there's so many different things vying for our attention, and because of that, like work-life balance is a little bit off. You have circumstances and situations that dictate that some people, like me and you had a conversation earlier today, I allow social media to dictate some aspects of my time. The importance of it is that we need to be a little bit more aware, and be able to effectively identify when our children are not in that space. And then we also have to be bold enough to go into their spaces and have real conversations with them about the things that they are dealing with. If we do those things, then we'll be in a better space with a lot of our children. And sometimes our kids don't feel like we know them. They'll sit here and say, like, my mom, my dad don't know me. And it's a very true and real statement. And so I think that's key. But I think one of the things that we got to really realize, man, and I don't think one of my favorite lines from hip hop. It's gonna be a little bit wild, but it says the smoke distressed. That should have put a hole in your chest. Actually, people have been self-medicating for a long time. So when the chronic comes around, people have been self-medicating. Marijuana, what does it do? It turns you down. It slows your thinking down and allows you to process things in a different way. So essentially what people are doing consciously, and I've seen this up close. I was in high school last year, that particular high school, but kids can't make it through the day without getting high. I mean, they're getting high every day. And I'm like, where y'all getting this money from? Mm-hmm. So I see a lot of that. I said, it's not a day that I don't ride through the streets, I don't smell marijuana somewhere. And that's a blower. That's a mind blower in terms of thinking about it and processing it. Not saying that if you use it for medicinal reasons, that's fine, but there's a lot of people that are self-medicated instead of addressing those mental health issues.
Clayman, why do you think people do that? Why do you think it's so hard for people, especially they take and I know whatever they take it from a black, they take it from your standpoint. Why do you think it's so hard for people to open up and have those conversations, or don't have nobody to talk? Why do you think it's hard to have those conversations that they feel in a certain type of way? Why do you think that become more of a stigma, more so than a cry for help?
Well, I think we kind of just went over that a little bit earlier. I think that there's been a negative stigmatism associated with mental health issues. And if you feel like you have to go see somebody, they're like, oh, they take it to the extreme. Not that you need a little bit of help, but they make you seem like you are going to shoot up the place, like you mentioned earlier. They take it to the extreme if somebody's having a little bit of an issue and needs some help. So people avoid that. And people, unfortunately, even the parents, they're like, oh, ain't nothing wrong with my child. He just need a little time out or whatever, and kind of overlook some of the signs that are glaring them in the face. And instead of trying to get them some help, they say, oh, I just need to give them time and let them work it out on their own. And I'll stop there.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Ron.
I don't want to stop. No, Gary hit a key point. I wanted to touch on that real quick. I have a young man, honestly, if he would have been helped maybe about 2 or 3 years earlier, he might be further along in his mental health and he might not be as disruptive in the home. He is completely disruptive to everybody in the home. Everybody is on eggshells relative to his behavior. And it's a direct result of the fact that his grandmother, who actually was a person that worked in the mental health field, observed behaviors, saw things, and she pushed for him to get treatment. Were it not for that, that lag would not be there. And the struggle that this young man is having right now is identifying, yo, bro, you got a problem. I have to really tell people like they have a problem. Like, and that's the scary thing, because the parents and the children don't necessarily see or identify that there are things that are happening in their life. But
Tori, I'm gonna ask you this, and because I'm kind of curious. I'm gonna get back to Ron. Is they always say the money is in the diagnosis and the medication, and not the cure? Do you think America's spending is mental health more big business to actually slow it down to stop it, or will you think we actually as a country actually putting the effort into healing people?
America's a capitalistic society, so like it is, the money's in the medicine, not the cure. It's like that for mental health and regular health. So yeah, I do think so.
Okay, and I'm push back with you with parents because I know I know you have your daughters, and I know I think we all know that you'll move hell and high water just like most parents would. But what's the key of staying in tune with them and knowing their issues and knowing? I know with me, I can look at Quinn and tell when he got a cold before he know he got a cold. What's the issue? Is that heavy parenting, or is that more paying attention, or is that just a
I'm
trait
a
that you don't have?
helicopter, so maybe I am a helicopter. I'm not a good park mommy. Like I won't go to. I am a helicopter, and I think that too. I think that we put, as women, when our child are in the womb, we do put a lot of things on our kids in the womb too. So I think I've put anxiety on my girls because of what I went through to get them here. So, but what I pay attention, so with Zoe and the ADD thing, and just trying to figure out, we had to have a conversation, because when her grades started dropping, and then when she was in the other school, how detached she was. Like, she hated going to this school, and the way she dressed, like, you know, all kids wear the sweatshirts, and she literally covered up everything about her, where her face is covered by her hair. Everything about her was covered. And so I just had to say, okay, well, what can you tell me that why you think your grades are dropped? And thank God that she is willing to have open conversations with me. And I appreciate that about them, that they're not scared. So that means I've made a safe place for them to be able to talk. And she's just like, I can't focus. I can't seem to focus. And then noise bothers me. When there's a whole bunch of noise, it bothers me. And so in my mind, okay, we're going to the doctor. What do I need to do to get my baby to focus? What test does she need to do? She already has an IEP in math, but when the other grades started falling, then the concern came in. It's just more of you paying attention to your kids at all times. And I can say we're a generation where our parents been too, like, we be going all day. They don't know where we are. But at the same time, if you're from a certain area, you had other people, you had a village watching over you at all times too, without you even knowing it. And so it's just that having those conversations. For us, of course, mental health, if you were sad, you know, let's go to church and pray it away. You can't pray it away. As Zora says, you can go pray, but see a therapist too. So,
okay. Outside of therapy, Nesma, what are some of the ways that we can help? And we can help dealing with somebody that's going through different issues. Because you know, I mean, and you said something, and you said something at the last podcast that kind of resonated, and a couple of people told me that, and you said hurt people hurt other people. And I think with mental health, if you hurting, you don't know how to get reaction. Your reaction gonna be lashing out to hurting other people. So what are some of the ways that may not be diagnosed in a clinical setting? But what are some of the ways that you feel that we can help bridge that gap and communicate with people with issues better?
I think one of the things we kind of talked about earlier today is sometimes having the ability or having someone available to listen, and just to kind of be able to get things off your chest or out of your mind, out of your spirit. Have someone to listen, not necessarily to provide solutions, but just someone to listen, so that you know that there's somebody that cares about you, that somebody that is that understands you, and that you're not in it alone. And then that friend also should have a responsibility to say, hey, I think things are getting into a danger zone, and to try to help that person seek help or seek help for that person. But I think being a friend and being able just to listen to your friend who is venting and not passing judgment, but just trying to let them have an opportunity to express themselves. I think that can help a lot of people, whether it's at all built inside and feeling that they have to face everything on their own.
Good. Ron, I'm gonna get a last question to you. And thank you, sir, for the research. Thank you, sir, for putting your time into this agenda as well. It was well thought out, and then the conversation is continually well needed. But I'm gonna give you the last question. Then I'm gonna let you close it out. I think we all know where we're at with time. I think we're kind of good with time. But I'm gonna give you the last question. What level of commitment do you feel the federal government and the states have the uptick in mental health issues? And after that, just kind of close it out for us.
I think it's a minimal commitment, and I think is evident by the fact that there are gatekeepers in mental health. And what I mean by gatekeepers is that there are folks that identify as local management entities or LMEs, and these entities make the criteria or raise the criteria increasingly for people to enter services. And you know, the one thing about America and the know-how and the solution-based thing is that you have to be proactive and not reactive. Well, in mental health, you're reactive. You're always looking for signs. And if those signs are not seen by people, you get the manifestation of behavior. And that's a major concern. And so I think all of us need to be vigilant in our lives for our loved ones and the people that we care about. And if we see something, say something. And then also there are other tools and things that are present, but there are also in our local areas mental health hotlines that you can reach out to and call. So if you ever get into a place and you need support, please do reach out for support.
Thank you. Great. We're gonna wrap that up. We're gonna do something a little different. Now we always try to tweak our show, guys. Try to do something different. I call the round table, the final thought round table. Let's give these panel maybe a minute or two. Just kind of give a share, a minute or two to kind of give a share, to share their thoughts for the day or what's going on for the week. Just for a minute or two, we're gonna do that. We're gonna start with you, Q. Your last thoughts of the evening.
There's been a lot of discourse on a point guard in Memphis who's from Sumter. A lot of discourse, and I'm here to tell people who wants to talk about that discourse. Unless you are a fan of the Memphis Grizzlies, what he does not affect you any way, shape, or form. So having so many think pieces on what a 23-year-old does and how detrimental that is to his career does not affect you whatsoever. And I go a step farther and say it almost doesn't affect the Black community as a whole, because he is in a top 5-10% of the Black community. And if you want to say, well, because he has all that money, he's in the NBA, then let's talk about the face of the NBA who hasn't done anything wrong in 20 plus years, as well as opened multiple schools and has not gotten in any trouble, never cheated on his wife, no allegations, nothing. But we draw the line at Ja Morant when in February we endorsed Karl Malone. Everyone here knows what Karl Malone did, but we gonna draw a line at Ja Morant. Aye.
Great commentary, sir. Great commentary. Playmaker, give me your thoughts for the night, sir.
Well, I had something. I'm gonna switch it up a little bit, and I'm just gonna say we're in desperate need of role models in our communities.
Amen. That's it? That's all you got?
Short to the point.
Are we gonna elaborate on that, sir? We just gonna leave that out there with no clothes.
That's it. He said what he said.
He
said what he said.
I will pick it back on you, sir. And I say that if you're a grown Black male in this country, and I'm gonna say it, you're a grown Black male in this country, and you have not put your hand around a young man, maybe your nephew, maybe your cousin, maybe a stranger on the street, if you had not reached back and put your hand on a young man and try to show him the right way, shame on you. Shame on you. Because the future is what we gonna do with our kids. So that's not my rant, but there you go, Nibs. I cleaned it up for you. Toya, give me your last thoughts.
My last thoughts is on healthcare and taking care of ourselves, especially at this age. We are entering into the second part of our life. That means we're getting old. So make sure that you are being tested, that you are getting your physicals, that we are prone to so many healthcare issues, and that you're getting, especially Black men, that you're getting your prostate tested, and that you're having your yearly physical, that you're making sure your blood pressure is okay, and that you're having your colonoscopies, which I did today. So get that cleanse, yo. Let's just be healthy. Let's live. Let's laugh. Let's love.
RJ.
A word for the day, and my quote unquote rant is on accountability and the lack thereof in our various communities. One of the things that makes any larger community great, which makes things happen, which is the number one thing that we try to achieve in mental health, is to create ownership. Creating ownership is done through accountability, and we have to be accountable one to another. So let's work on being accountable to those that we love, those that we care about, and those that we impact. That's my spiel.
Cool. Hey guys, I know you ain't gonna let me leave without mine, but hey, we got to get back to taking care of each other, and especially relationships. There's a couple of areas we listen to social media about how social media tell us, the creators of this world, the creators of this land, how to love each other. We gonna let the TV, the media, the white society, this society tell us, black people, how to love one. If we don't do nothing else worth anything, we love one another. And I'm gonna say it's gonna be something for another day. It's truth in relationships, everybody wrong. The black man wrong and the black woman is wrong. The black woman lack accountability and the black man lack responsibility. If we don't get it together, guys, we're gonna have a problem. But that's a story for another day. Hey, a great show. Enjoyed the conversation. Hey, again, hey, check us out on YouTube. Check us out on Facebook Live. And pretty soon, guys, we will be on the radio beginning of the month. So check us out there. More information will be coming. And like always, guys, may your next move be the game changer. Peace.